This is the biggest twist in Jujutsu Kaisen, almost as shocking as what happened to Gojo. Is Yuji the reincarnation of Sukuna's long-lost twin brother? Or is Sukuna actually Yuji's uncle? Even the translations for this chapter sparked a huge controversy about the nature of Yuji's secret family connection to Sukuna. But we do know that Sukuna and Yuji are in fact related. They are literally family. So let's talk about it right now. If you guys enjoyed this video and you want to see more in the future, leave a quick like and comment for that YouTube algorithm. And if you haven't taken the time to subscribe to the channel, do me a huge favor and subscribe. It's completely free and it helps me out a lot. In the previous chapter, a huge focus was placed on Black Flash and how Black Flash works. At the beginning, we had Gojo explaining in a flashback all the complex mechanics of Black Flash, which often end up being related to pure chance. We then went back to the main fight where Sukuna was fighting Yuji, Choso, and Maki at the same time. Sukuna managed to pull off a third consecutive Black Flash attack, and on top of that, the output of his normal slashes appeared to be increasing. Sukuna then smashed Choso into the wall using yet another Black Flash, but Choso managed to avoid too much damage by hardening his blood and then forming an armor out of that hardened blood. Choso noticed that no matter how much Sukuna tries to improve his conditions through Black Flash, when he takes an attack from Yuji, his cursed energy output and cursed control inevitably go down again. For some reason, Yuji has the unique ability to hurt Sukuna more than others. This is something to keep in mind because it's about to make a lot more sense after the massive twist in the latest chapter. At the end of the last chapter, LaRue managed to use his curse technique to distract Sukuna and pull his attention away just long enough for Yuji to smash him right into his already injured chest with a massive Black Flash attack. The narrator declared that this Black Flash just released Yuji's full potential, and that amidst a shower of black sparks, Yuji Itadori has just awakened. The new chapter starts off with a flashback in which Uraume asks Sukuna, who is Yuji Itadori? Uraume is asking this because he, or she, felt some similarity between Yuji and Sukuna that couldn't just be explained by the fact that Sukuna's soul spent some time in Yuji's body and then left. Sukuna says outright that Yuji is a creation of Kenjaku, and Kenjaku wouldn't go out of his way to create a child without a very good reason. And of course, I've been saying this exact thing for years, but now finally in this chapter we get the answer, so stay tuned. Sukuna then explains that he was actually a twin, but in order to survive, he ate his own twin brother while he was still inside their mother's womb. Because the twin already had a soul, the soul continued to exist, and presumably it kept being reincarnated into other bodies over the course of many centuries. Kenjaku managed to track down its modern incarnation, which was apparently Yuji's father, Jin Itadori. Kenjaku then possessed Kaori's body and conceived a child with Jin. And so it turns out that Sukuna is actually Yuji's uncle, because Yuji is the son of the reincarnation of Sukuna's twin brother. And this means that Yuji has the same latent potential as Sukuna himself. Yuji has the potential to become as strong as the King of Curses. Now, what caused a ton of confusion was the fact that the early translations of the chapter had claimed that Yuji himself was Sukuna's secret twin brother. They were saying that Yuji himself was the reincarnation of Sukuna's brother's soul, and this was immediately picked up all over social media. Twitter was freaking out over it, and in general everyone was talking about Yuji being Sukuna's twin brother. Since this was actually a popular fan theory for a long time, and I even made a video about it right here on the channel, a lot of people thought that this years-old fan theory was just confirmed. But the chapter translations that came after clarified that Yuji's father was actually the reincarnation of Sukuna's twin, meaning that Sukuna is technically Yuji's uncle, not his brother. If we get any sort of additional changes in the Viz translation, I will of course let you guys know in the next video. Back in the present, Sukuna and Yuji are facing off one-on-one on the battlefield. We see Yuji successfully landing a second Black Flash on Sukuna, followed right away by a third. The narrator explains that Yuji actually possesses two curse techniques now: blood manipulation, which we already knew, and Shrine, Sukuna's own cursed technique. He is able to use Sukuna's technique not only because it was engraved on his body while Sukuna's soul was residing within him, but also because it has been engraved within him by the soul of his own father, who was the reincarnation of Sukuna's other half, Sukuna's twin brother. This makes sense in the world of JJK because twins basically share the same power. So the twin of Sukuna would be expected to have the same power and potential as Sukuna himself. We then see Yuji absolutely dismantling several huge building pillars and launching them at Sukuna. We also see him grab Sukuna's foot and pull him in for yet another Black Flash, the 4th Black Flash in only a few minutes. This is just insane, and it really showcases the true extent of Yuji's potential. Even Sukuna is outright shocked by Yuji's ability to seemingly use Black Flash on command like it's nothing. By the way, remember when Gojo said way back in chapter 12 that Yuji would eventually learn to use Sukuna's own curse technique? Well, that theory is now confirmed, and of course we can't assume that Yuji can already use Shrine at the same level as Sukuna. Sukuna has had a lot more practice, but Yuji definitely has the potential to keep improving until he is just as strong as Sukuna. During another flashback, we see Ino asking Gojo, Shoko, and the others about whether he could use Nanami's cursed tool after Nanami's death. Gojo and the others tell him that even though they knew Nanami for longer, he is the one that Nanami trusted the most, so he should be the one to use his cursed tool. Back in the present, Ino summons a dragon using his cursed technique, and the dragon then attacks Sukuna. At this point, I feel like the chapter is trying to remind us that even though the focus is on the big battle between Sukuna and awakened Yuji, Yuji is still getting help from his allies. This is still a team effort, it's not a straight up 1v1 because Sukuna would still be able to body Yuji if that was the case, at least for now. Unfortunately for Ino, Sukuna is able to slice through the dragon pretty quickly, and when Ino tries to sneak up on Sukuna and hit him with Nanami's cursed tool, Sukuna manages to block it with his leg. Ino is clearly disappointed that his attack failed, but it didn't completely fail, because Yuji uses that brief distraction to smash Sukuna with yet another Black Flash. This man Yuji has become an absolute beast now that he has awakened. He is finally starting to look like the freaking main character of the story. As we know, Sukuna is rarely shocked and he is rarely frustrated, but he is definitely both shocked and frustrated to see that Yuji can use Black Flash over and over again against him like it's nothing. Ino is now on the ground and he seems out of it, but the epic clash between Sukuna and Yuji continues, and thanks to Ino's distraction, Yuji is on the cusp of gaining the upper hand. Sukuna tries to hit Yuji with a combination of impact blows and slashing attacks, but somehow Yuji doesn't seem to be affected by them. Instead, Yuji just keeps standing and keeps fighting, and then he hits Sukuna with yet another Black Flash. This is unreal, man. Yuji has now landed 6 Black Flash attacks within the span of a few minutes. He might be in the middle of completing the greatest combo attack in the history of JJK. But even though he keeps getting hit by Black Flashes, Sukuna is still standing and hitting back. He manages to grab the right side of Yuji's face and slashes it with his hand, causing blood to burst from Yuji's face. But even this doesn't slow him down, and Yuji just winds up and delivers a 7th Black Flash right at Sukuna. Now, Sukuna is visibly furious, and he is taking some serious damage. He is cut and bloodied and beaten, and he yells out angrily, calling Yuji a brat. Sukuna has officially lost his cool, and he is officially worried. Sukuna looks like he might be on the back foot, and that is a huge development on its own. Awakened Yuji is no joke, and the more Black Flashes he lands, the more hyped and more in the zone he gets, and then the more likely he is to keep hitting even more Black Flashes. And if that wasn't bad enough for Sukuna, the next thing he knows, he gets smacked in the face with Nanami's cursed tool after Ino chucks it at him from a distance. And what does Yuji do next? Can you guess? Yup, you guessed it, he uses this new distraction to run up on Sukuna and deliver yet another Black Flash attack right into Sukuna's back. So that's the 8th Black Flash that Yuji has delivered in quick succession, 1 in the previous chapter and 7 in this one chapter. Sukuna's face seems to be showing outright confusion about what is even happening, and that's how the chapter ends. Sukuna is probably thinking, what is this, a Black Flash bargain sale? Anyway, awakened Yuji is an absolute monster, and he's not alone. He still has allies who are doing their part to distract Sukuna long enough for him to land Black Flash attacks on him. On top of that, Sukuna seems to be extremely angry and extremely worried. So could this be it? After all this time, is Yuji going to be the one to take his uncle Sukuna down? Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I want to believe it, but Gege has tricked us and given us false hope so many times that I don't really know. As far as we know, Sukuna could suddenly turn the tables again in the next chapter and then we're back where we started. But okay, we need to talk about this huge reveal about Yuji and Sukuna's secret family connection because it explains so much. This explains why Kenjaku was so interested in Yuji. It explains why Sukuna's final form has double the arms, double the eyes, and double the mouths. They come from the twin brother that Sukuna devoured while still in their mother's womb. This also explains how Yuji was able to handle being Sukuna's vessel so much better than the average person, and how he was able to control Sukuna within his body and prevent him from taking over. As Sukuna's nephew, Yuji was the ideal vessel. He was highly compatible with Sukuna's soul, and that's why he was able to keep Sukuna at bay. This also explains why Yuji has the unique ability to hurt Sukuna's soul more than other people. Because not only did they share the same body for a while, but they also have the same curse technique, and Yuji was created from the other half of Sukuna's own soul. We also now know why Sukuna gets so mad at Yuji in particular, and why he always keeps disrespecting him and calling him a brat, even when he clearly doesn't deserve it. Sukuna is just that angry uncle who keeps giving you a hard time because he's worried that you might have the potential to surpass him and foil his evil master plan. I mean, I think we all have an uncle like that, right? No? Anyway, I am really glad that we finally got some extremely important info about Yuji's backstory and his secret family connection to Sukuna. Like I said, this explains so much, and I do hope that we will get to learn more of the story, including the ultimate fate of Jin Itadori. What happened to Sukuna's brother and Yuji's father, Jin? Is he dead? Is his soul now inside Yuji or something? Or is he still alive and could he show up later in the story? Does awakened Yuji actually stand a chance of defeating his uncle Sukuna? Let me know what you think down in the comments below. If you want to check out my theory video where I already talked about the idea that Sukuna might have a secret twin brother, the link is on screen and in the description. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more JJK content right here on the channel, leave a quick like to let me know. And if you haven't subscribed yet, do me a huge favor and subscribe. It's completely free, but it helps me out a lot.